for scene 4, this is from Raphael's line, "Oh my god, guys, look at this mad house," to the Neverborn's line inside. So for this scene, this is quite a big scene, and this is us turning up in the coach and seeing a massive house, which is the Somner house. Also walking through the hallways, seeing posters, which is me, Tom and Grace, the Neverborns, as posters, and then they go downstairs into like a dark kind of basement environment and find a door. For this scene, I didn't have as many lines, but I really needed to embody the Neverborn and use movement to show that I was no longer the teacher, and that I was creepy. Like, I needed to show that I was an inhumane character. So one of my strengths for this was the way I came on the stage with my stage light, about to go into the poster bit. I used almost like body rolls to, what's it called? I used body rolls to I almost used like body rolls to move across the stage into my place, instead of plainly walking, which would have made it too realistic. It wouldn't have really made sense, and that would be breaking character. So I used my light and led with my light, which I had learnt to do in many movement lessons with our teacher Sophie. We'd do exercises of walking around the space, leading with a part of our body. I decided to lead with the light, as it was quite a main part of the story, as that is what killed Somner's wife, and I was playing Somner's wife in the poster. So that was quite a good strength of mine, I think. Another strength was using my voice to, whilst me, Tom and Grace were off stage getting the door, there was a few moments where we would say like yes and cinema and welcome, and all three of us really used our voices to whisper loudly, but also in a very creepy tone, to, as we're not on stage, the audience can't see that we are speaking, so it's it adds a bit of suspense to the whole scene. Also, another strength was getting on the door quick enough, but also slow enough so it didn't look rushed on, and position it, me, Tom and Grace positioning it in the exact right place. A weakness of mine was when it came to the posters, being laid in the position I found it really hard to stay like dead still. I watched that scene over, and I realised that Tom and Grace looked absolutely brilliant because they were very, very still. And the only time they would move an inch is when they were meant to. With the position I was in, I was very shaky, and I couldn't really keep that I couldn't keep still enough. Another weakness was after the posters, me, Tom and Grace had to say this way downstairs, deeper sleep, in a creepy tone. And as I was coming off, I used the body rolls and the movements to come off, but I needed to go off stage still moving like that, because I didn't realise how open the flats actually were, and that is something I should have taken into account. My last weakness for this scene was when I had to open the door and say inside. I was a little bit late. I watched it over and realised that Daniel, by the time I had opened it, he was in front of me, so not a lot of the audience could see me, so my role was a little bit pointless. But I did use tone again to make it sound a lot very creepy. If I was to perform this again, I would 100% in rehearsals sit in different places in the audience to see how much of backstage I could see, because I didn't realise how much they could see. But yeah, I'd sit in different areas of the audience so I could do that. Also, I would probably practice on my breathing and being able to not hold my breath but kind of slow it down a little bit, so I wasn't as, because where there was a lot of adrenaline pumping through my body, I found it really hard to not breathe. Like that wasn't a thing that I could do. So next time, if I was to perform it again, I would have 100% like work on my breathing and how to just calm it down. So I looked a bit more like a potion, and I was still not like I was a dead person on the floor, if that makes sense. Also, I would just listen, so I think I got a little bit distracted by getting onto the door and making sure that Grace and Tom had put the brakes on, because I was scared of falling off. I should have, like, I would 100% not get as distracted, so I could 100% get more, like, not as distracted, so I could open the door in time for everyone to see me, and that would have 100% built the suspense.